I'm going to try to get this message out. I'm going to try my best. Lord, help me. This morning, it was on my heart to talk about something because I'm just starting to realize, like, even though I'm still growing in my faith, it's like God is allowing me to see, is opening up my eyes to see that a lot of people, a lot of Christians, that's what I'm talking about now. Christians say they have faith in God, but they really just like bumping their gums. They really just like doing a lot of lip service. Because a lot of them don't trust like they make it seem. And I'm just putting it out there. A lot of them do not trust like they make it seem. A lot of them trust because they can put their hands on something, or they know where they can pull it from, or they know who can help them. But when God actually puts somebody in a situation, because I'm noticing when people find out about my situation, Christians find out about my situation, they just can't believe it. Nobody can seem to believe that God would call somebody off their job or either allow a door to be closed and tell you be still and completely trust in him to provide for you. For some reason, that just seems so out of this world for God to do. Mind you now, we serve a God who's out of this world. But for some reason, people can't believe. Like they say they believe the stuff that went on in the Bible. They don't believe that. They don't believe that. Because how can you believe that the Lord called Peter off the boat from making his income for him and his family to come solely trusting him to provide for him? But then when it happens to one of you or me, people look at you like you crazy. Like ain't no way in the world God told you that. So if you can't believe that it can happen to one of us, how you gonna believe that God called Peter off the boat to follow him and trust in him? Hebrews 11:1 says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Substance means a particular kind of matter with uniform properties. I wrote the definition of particular. Used to single out an individual matter, an individual member of a specific group of class. And what I wrote here is that specific group is Christians. He singled us out once he died on the cross for us. And you chose to give your life back to him so that he can live through you. You were now chosen to be set apart from the world. Properties, a thing or things belonging to someone, possession collectively. Collectively mean as a group, as a whole. When you come into Christ, you become a part of him. And we're all one body in Christ. I wrote, what do you know? When we gave our lives to Christ, we became part of his family. Not only that, but when he died for our nasty, stinking selves, we became property. Yes, under his authority. Authority means the power or right to give order, make decisions, and enforce obedience. Proverbs 3:5 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not And do not lean on your own understanding. The word trust means firm belief in the reality, truth, ability, or strength of someone or something. And I wrote, a healthy relationship with anybody, if you don't trust them, what do you have? Like, what do you have if you don't trust somebody? If you don't trust your husband, that relationship ain't healthy. If you don't trust your wife, that relationship ain't healthy. If you don't trust your coworkers or your friends, how can y'all relationship be healthy? I looked up on ChatGPT. It's an app that you can go on and ask it questions or whatever. And I think I asked it, can someone be in a relationship with somebody and the other person not know it? And it said, yeah. It says relationships are about mental connection. But sometimes one person may believe they are in a relationship while the other does not feel the same way. It's nowhere in the world, I'll just say, I ain't going to say you can't have a relationship with God. There's nowhere in the world that you can have a solid relationship in God and have faith in him and you don't even trust him at his word. It's nowhere in the world you can have faith in God and you don't even trust him at his word. It's no way we, and I'm going to say we, because I don't want nobody to feel offended. There's nowhere in the world that we can have faith in God and we can't even trust what his word say. God is telling you, God is telling us to trust him. And he has showed us many times in our lives he can be trusted. But we, for whatever reason, can't get it out of our minds how we can trust in someone who we cannot see. And to be real, that's the problem. Yet I can't even understand why, because we right here with family, friends, and pretenders, and they can't even be trusted. And we can see them all day. This lash here. Faith is believing in something even when you can't physically see or prove it. Relying on and trusting in something unseen. The unseen thing that we're trusting in is God. Is God. We don't have to see him to trust him. Not when you know what he's already done in your life. You shouldn't have to see him when he's already proven himself in your situations before. Faith is us trusting in God and understanding who he is. He's God, creator of all things, not just some things. When he speaks, things happen. People start moving. The people in the Bible had nothing to go off of. They just trusted, and what God told them to do, they just did it. But we have the example of how to have faith in a God we can't see, on top of knowing he did come through for them. I looked up what does the word did, D-I-D, mean. Perform an action of which often unspecified. God put forth action in performing the miracles, signs, and wonders for his people. For his people then. And they couldn't see him. And he's doing them now. But some of us missing and will keep missing out on them because they don't really believe like they mouth say they do. Don't just believe because you can see your way out or know who you can run to. A lot of people say they believe in God and have faith in him to do, but in their mind, what we can't see, they trying to still work a plan out, put things together, match up the puzzle pieces, leaning on their own understanding, doing what God has told us not to do. But they telling you they trust him, but in their mind they still trying to put things together. All I can say is, I haven't arrived. I ain't gonna sit up here and act like I do, or I have. God is helping me to trust in him. And part of him helping me to trust in him, he got me sitting still. He got me in a place that's unfamiliar. He got me in a place that ain't too comfortable. He got me in a place where I don't have no choice but to trust him. But I'm so sick and tired of some of these Christians. Some of these Christians that act like they got all the faith in the world. All the faith in the world. But then when somebody they know come to them or they hear about their situation, instead of the conversation being like what it normally would be, like, yeah, girl, you got to have faith, like God gonna do it, he gonna work it out. You ain't got to see it. Just know God is God. He gonna do that thing. But when they actually come up against somebody who really going through that faith test, ain't no money in the bank, things start disappearing, being collected, then it's a whole nother conversation. What you gonna do? You still ain't found no job? How you gonna do this? Or the latest two that I heard, ain't no way that God will tell you not to work. Or, I don't believe God would put you in a situation to lose what he helped you get. Even listening to that last statement, if he helped me get it, why wouldn't he provide it back better? I'm just saying. It's just kind of like getting up under my skin. I'm not mad, I'm not upset, but it's kind of like aggravating that I have to keep repeating myself. And when I say keep repeating myself, I mean just me keep saying the same thing. Whether it's a new person I'm telling it to or not, me keep saying the same thing. If we gonna trust God, trust God. Because all I'm gonna say is, God hear you bumping them gums. He hear you bumping them gums. And what's gonna end up happening? Because you around here making it seem like you trust him this, you got faith in him that, God gonna put your behind in a situation that you gonna have to put forth that faith that you so highly speak that you have, and you gonna have to faith that thing out, whether you like it or not. And what he gonna do, he gonna make sure ain't nobody in the way to provide for you. He gonna make sure ain't nobody there for you to pull from. Because he want to see just how much you really trust him. Or are you just putting on an act for people? Because when the stuff really going to hit the fan, baby, that faith, that faith gonna have to be faithing, baby. I already knew when my account got on zero, that faith was going to hit different when you don't see no money in there. But I'm so glad that God gave me time even before I lost my job. It just seemed like after I lost my job, I just been getting closer to God, to where I have so much peace about a situation that should be driving me crazy. I have peace. I have peace. But every time you hear people coming at you and they saying different stuff, and some of them could mean it from a good place, it does something to me. It disturbs my peace in a way that it causes me to doubt or to question when God has given me so many confirmations. Like I said, I don't even feel right asking God for no more confirmations, because he has made it clear to me. And whether anybody else can see the clear skies the way I do, when God speaks to me, it don't matter. You know why? Because God ain't said it to them. He didn't speak it to them. But all I keep telling God is, I don't know what you're going to do. I don't know how you're going to do it. I don't know when you're going to do it. But Lord, all I know is that you're going to show up for me. And the scary part about all of this is we all know God going to show up. But he doesn't tell us when he going to show up. And that's the scary part. Even in thinking about that, you end up questioning, like, God, did I really hear you? And I have done that. But I also said to myself, even if, and I'm going to say, because I know I heard God right. But say, even if I misunderstood, thinking that what I heard was God and it wasn't. Because God know my heart and know that I didn't do it intentionally. God gonna do whatever he can to redirect me and get me back on track. And you know what else? He's gonna provide for me. Because he know that if I heard him wrong, which I know I didn't, he know that this situation wasn't nothing I did on purpose. But all I'm saying is, just because your faith ain't hit that level that you talk so highly about, don't try to downplay somebody else's. Don't try to downplay somebody else's. Because just like you hear God talk to you, we hear God talk to us. And just because God ain't told you to leave your job and let him provide for you, don't mean he didn't tell that to nobody else. Because he sure told it to Peter. Leave that and I'll make you fishers of many men. In other words, leave that and I'll take care of you. Trust in me and I'll take care of you. You ain't got to work no more. Long as you follow me. And I'm following God. So, all I can say is, and I'm going to keep saying this, whoever you are, and God has you in a position of waiting on him, being still, trusting in him to solely provide for you, and you not do nothing else but trust him, don't let nobody else knock you off your post because of something they said, or facial expressions that they have, or reactions that they give when you tell them your story. Don't let nobody cause you to miss out on what God got for you. Because on the other side of our obedience, what's going to happen, it's not going to just help us have another level of faith, but it's going to help those people who don't believe to now have the type of faith that we had through the process. They're going to have that faith. But when we get on the other side of that obedience, we're going to be past that stage of faith. Our trials and tribulations that we go through aren't for us. They're to help other people. And I know what's in my heart is that what God is about to do through the ones that are going through what I'm going through, the people around you who are witnessing this, witnessing you losing your vehicle, witnessing you losing your apartment, your housing, whatever, who got this to say in their mind, this to say out loud, this to feel in their emotions or whatever, them same people, God is about to bless you in a way where they can't help but believe. They can't help but believe. So stay still, because it's bigger than you. It's bigger than me. And I told God, I'm going to look like a fool until you come through for me, because I know that it's going to help people to believe. I think it's sad that it's Christians walking around here saying they got faith in God, but the moment some real stuff shake that foundation, them knees get weak. Them knees get weak when they don't see no help. I thank God every day that I still got a roof over my head. I do. I thank God every day. Throughout my day, I thank God. I thank God. I thank God for everything that's going on around me. Nothing do I take for granted, have took for granted, but more than ever now, the gratefulness that I have is on a whole nother level. I don't know what's going to happen from one moment to the next, literally. All I know is that I'm trusting in God. I got the bank calling me about overdraft on a credit card that's been maxed out. I got the car payment people calling me, and I'm not even answering the phone. And it's not that I'm trying to be funny. I don't know what to tell them people. Like, them people want their money. Either they want their money or they want that car. And every time that phone ring, I be like, Lord, I'm trusting you. Whatever you gonna do, whatever you gonna let happen with that vehicle, it's in your hands. Because ain't nothing I can do. I can't drive it. Why? Because now my license is suspended because of not having insurance. And a lot of people may watch this and want to know, why are you telling your business? Because people overcome by the word of people's testimony. And while you over there sitting on your testimony, you stopping somebody else's breakthrough. Fool. Lord, forgive me. Forgive me, Lord. I don't understand people. Like, I don't understand people. They be so worried about, and I ain't gonna lie, I used to be like that. I'm so glad that, and I think I just got like that after losing my job and giving complete control to God. I don't care what nobody think about me no more. I don't. I do not care what people say. I don't care how they look at me. I don't care how they view me. Because there's nothing that they can say or do that can get me in the gates of heaven. Ain't nothing they can say or do that can pay near one of my bills right now. So all I can say is, if you got to separate yourself from people, separate yourself from people. And if they want to think that you depressed or whatever, let them think that. Long as when you're separating yourself from people, you're drawing closer to God and not allowing the enemy to have room to move in and play games in your mind, you good. You good. You good. So, with that being said, I feel like I was all over the place, but I pray that it got out in the way that it needed to get out, and I pray that it gets to who it needs to get to. But don't be ashamed of being obedient in what God told you. And by all means, please make sure God told it to you. Because I don't want you around here blaming God for you and what you wanted to do. make sure you know God told you something. Because what I do know is that even though we'll go through a period of going through hard times, being in lack of stuff, if we really have been put in a situation because God put us there, we may lose stuff here and there. Some people may lose everything. But God gonna give you a peace and a rest that's unexplainable. Not only that, if you listen to him and obey what he's telling you in that process of waiting on him and him providing for you, you won't lack for nothing. You might not have the things that you desire, but he gonna take care of what needs to be taken care of. And sometimes what needs to be taken care of, some people don't think it's important until it's important. Say that again. Sometimes what needs to be taken care of, people don't think it's a need for it to be taken care of until it's a need. For it to be taken care of. So, like I said, people got to realize it's already a hard situation enough. When you then got in a place of just being okay with what God is telling you to do, and you then got into a place of having faith and trust, and you good, and then somebody come along and say something, whether they know it or not, or react in a way whether they know it or not, that just causes you to just end up replaying those feelings all over again. Obey God. Obey God. Obey God. Obey God.